Hello, welcome to Keys to ESP, episode 12, How We Play. This is yours truly from Team ESP, Plastic Crack John, and today I am joined once again with a few members of Team ESP. First off, we have SidePod Dennis.
Yo.
Narp Josh.
Hello.
And of course, Seal Benson.
Hello.
How you guys doing? Another week has gone by, and once again, we're joined together to talk about Keyforge. And this time, just to let everyone know, this is our season finale.
Yay! or brew, whatever, whichever one you prefer.
Yeah, so just some show notes for our listeners is that this is the last episode of the season. Thank you for sticking with us so far through the 12 episodes thus far. I guess 12 days of Christmas. What's up? But we will be joining back sometime in the new year to start a new season. Of course, we're going to take a little break after this recording. So until then, hopefully you have some at least 12 episodes to go through and check us out and to hopefully play more Keyforge while we're out of your ears for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So continuing on with the show notes, just to also cover what we're going to be discussing today, we're going to go over a Crack a Pack, sleeve or leave, I should say, as our segment's called. We're going to open up a brand new deck and evaluate it once again to give us a little bit of Keyforge content. And then we're going to be discussing about how we play Keyforge, especially in these times right now. And then perhaps some new ways that maybe you guys can experience Keyforge as well, and different variants and formats as well. So let's check in with the guys once again. What have you guys been up to in the past week in the world of Keyforge? Let's check with Narp Josh. How you been doing, man?
Well, I've been good. My neighbors can't reap, so there's that. Still working on hopefully getting some webcam games scheduled on stream / recording some webcam games that were from stream and putting it up on YouTube. Look out for those because as I play, it's going to be more like a point of view format where as I'm facing my opponent, I'll be commentating and vocalizing my decision making and my options. So stay tuned. I'll let the Facebook group know once a hard date has been set for one. So check it out, Joe Dobby for unboxings and gameplay, JODOBBI.
Yeah, so Josh, I heard that you're planning to do some sort of webcam playthrough or something like that. Is that what you're going to be showing off later on?
Yeah, so Benson, Chaos, Chrono, and I actually, you as well, Stormy, John, we played some webcam games and it looked pretty good. The quality was fine. It's not like HD or anything, but you can definitely identify which cards are which. And the autofocus is nice. So if we have a viewer that says, hey, what is that card? What does it do? I want to see the art. We can just focus it up on the webcam and you'll be able to see it within a few seconds. So yeah, I highly recommend hopping on when we do run it.
Awesome. How about you, DC Trays? What's up with Keyforge in your world?
I'm just selling more ducks. Honestly, having a hard time right now because I'm actually out of town. So I'm gonna be back soon. Then I'm gonna ship it out. I have a few ducks I actually need to pack that I'm gonna send out. Not much as far as gameplay or anything. I haven't played like the cards in so long. I kind of miss it. We'll see what happens. Online gameplay from the TCO is not enough. I rarely touch it. So not much, but I do watch a bunch of the content that our guys here are producing. So that's pretty good.
Awesome. And how about you, Seal Benson?
Yeah, same thing. So exactly what Josh said, we're working on getting a timeline down because schedules have been difficult to align as of late. I keep the man waiting sometimes and he has to move on. So, but yeah, that content's going to be coming out. Still keeping up with my weekly unboxings. Still have plenty of decks left for those videos, so keep your eyes out for those. And otherwise, I'm actually just recently putting together a beginner's video, just like introducing the game and whatnot, referencing the FFG's content as well. Just so for new players that are getting into the game for the first time, that they have a resource that can cover most of the basic stuff in video format, rather than just read through the entire rulebook. But that's probably still the best way to go about learning the game.
Awesome. As for myself, I've been bumming around at home, not doing a whole lot. I haven't cracked open a lot more packs at all, but maybe that'll be forthcoming in a bit. But yeah, that's pretty much in our world of Keyforge thus far. Let's move on. All right, guys, so let's move on to our save and leave segment, wellfully named. Right here, you can see I have a pack ready to go. This one, for reference purposes, for the guys who believe in Juju, it is the top deck on the far right side, which I've already removed the sticker off of, but have not opened it yet. All right, guys, what do you guys think? What are you guys hoping for? Something good?
Something good.
Duds, man.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
gotta be.
Shadows, Untamed, and Starlines.
it's got to be a 7v4.
This is it. This is gonna be it. This is gonna be it.
Ooh, Josh,
Ooh.
you are 0 for 3.
I already lost.
Logo.
That logo.
Oh,
Saurian.
Saurian.
Oh, it hurts.
Logo
Hell
Saurian.
yeah, Untamed.
Oh, okay. What?
Untamed. 1 for 3.
Oh, that's going to be
Right.
interesting.
Let's take a look at the name. It is the Rootless Trapper of Woriol.
Rootless Trapper of Woriol.
Woriol. That is weird. So what do you guys think so far? Just looking at just the Archon.
I feel like we're gonna have a legacy card right now. I don't know why.
Ooh.
Ooh, looking for a legacy, huh?
It looks like a crustacean, so you're gonna see Mermooks.
Or Mooks. Lol. Alright, I'm gonna nominate one of you guys to be deck reader this time. Let's go, Benson. You can read.
Guess I'll go. Starting with logos, we have Lethalogica, 2 Opposition Research, a Quixo the Adventurer, Standardized Testing, an Enhanced Causal Loop, which is pretty nice, Dimension Door, Vision Bloom, Mutagenic Serum, Novu Dynamo, Mind Over Matter that's also enhanced, and Odd Clod. It's a little lacking on creatures. Moving on to Saurians, we have It's Coming, which means we have Deus Silis. But next is Beware the Ides, Cornican Octavia, Defense Initiative, an Enhanced Galeotops, an Enhanced Therocenurion, Hedonistic Intent, Humble, Lycosaurus, Monument to Octavia, and of course the 2 parts of Deus Silis.
One of them is enhanced.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and one part is enhanced. The special rare one is enhanced. Which side is that? Top or bottom? Do we know?
It's gotta be the top, right?
Yeah,
I
top is at the
Yeah.
bottom of the deck. Yeah, I think you're right. So yeah, nice. Okay, moving on. We have Untamed. We're gonna start with Cephaloist, Dark Fairy, Flumph, and a second Flumph that's enhanced. Gloriana's Attendant, Reclaimed by Nature, Resurgence, Bumblebird again, Commune, Fangtooth Cavern, Vault's Blessing, and Techno Beast.
Okay, Bumble burn the deck.
Bumblebird in the deck. Oof.
That enhanced Deus Silis sounds fun though.
That's interesting, yeah. I mean, it's
It's a
got to hit
capture.
at some point, right? Well, we know 2 is probably Amber from Gloriana's Attendant.
Hey, but a causal loop with causal loop is that archive a card, right?
Yeah, archive a card and archive it. So
That's
you can keep
awesome.
replaying
You
it.
set up- yeah, you have a higher
Yeah.
chance of setting up the Deus Silis.
I have a feeling
Yeah.
that's an Amber bonus on Causal Loop as well.
Potentially. Resurgence
That
is
would
going to
be
enhance a drop hip, I think. So that might be in there.
Yep,
True, it
that'll be
might be a
good too.
Let's try to guess what the other 2 are. 3. How many are we missing?
Gloriana's Attendant will give you the Amber bonus.
2
What are
Amber
the other
bonuses.
ones? Opposition
The
Research,
draw.
is that draw?
Opposition research is a damage, I think, for
It's
each.
damage. Yeah,
Cornish
Yeah,
and
so there
Octavia
should
is
be
a
2
capture,
damage.
right?
Which one?
that would suck if it was damage.
Cornish and
on
Octavia is
console.
2 captures, right? Or is it 1?
I don't think it enhances, but I think it captures 2 as an action.
Yeah, it doesn't
Okay.
enhance. Capture 2 is an action, yeah.
Where is it then?
We're missing 1. What are we missing?
Oh, opposition research does 2.
Yes, it does 2
damages.
damage pips. We're
Yeah.
missing the 1.
Fission
What do-
bloom.
Is it
Bloom
Fission Bloom?
provides- Yeah, I think so. I'm
What
pretty
does it
sure
enhance?
Fission Bloom is.
Yeah, so it
It's
should
a
be
draw.
2 amber bonus, 2 damage bonus, and then 2 drop hips.
So yeah, I guess Fission does do a draw then.
So I personally, sorry to interrupt, I would like the damage on Deacylus because when you play him, you deal damage, so you can de-ward something and then deal damage.
True.
I'd like
True.
the Amber on Causal Loop,
True.
and then actually the other ones can go on Causal Loop is fine.
All
with
right,
me,
I'm
whether it's
gonna crack this
Yeah,
open.
let's check it
just
out.
to check it out. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, but continue talking.
Causal loop draw would be good too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Causal Loop
Yeah.
draw would be good.
Well, that's
Anything
cool
on
that-
Causal Loop is pretty
and
good.
then You draw and then archive. Oh, and you archive causal loop itself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like the QMech thing. Awesome.
It's like No, I think QMX is better. But like, yeah, it's more or less the same thing. I just don't like when you do causal loop, right? If you're on a logos turn, you play causal loop and you have to archive something. You're gonna archive a logos card with that other card. You're not gonna.
Yep.
You're probably not gonna archive a logos card with causal loop. You know, on a logos turn. That's the only thing. That's that particular design of those type of cards I don't really like.
Well, all right. So Deacylus is it's a drop hit.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
That's kind of lame.
I mean, we got 2 more cards in Saurians that might do damage because there's 2 damage pips. That's going somewhere.
Yeah. So the Theocenturion and the Galotropes got the damage pips.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
Yeah,
that's
see,
not bad.
see.
Ooh, causal loop. Causal loop got the drop hit.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, that's good.
So mind over matter, and Flumph got the amber.
An Amber Flumph isn't bad. You get a body in Amber.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mind over matter, extra Amber. Why not?
Mind over matter is the one where you archive all creatures, right?
Put
No.
each creature into an owner
Yes.
archive.
Yeah,
Mhm.
archive everything.
That's a
Yep.
white. It's a soft white.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty good. You can archive your Deacylus out on the table.
Okay, listen.
Yeah, that's nice. And
I
then
can
play him
already
out
see
when
a-
you need it.
I can already see a dope combo right now.
Bro, you can
But-
play Deacylus, humble him, and then archive him, and then play him again.
The
So
next
you're
turn.
like throwing Amber away and then capturing it again.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
So
read
you-
Humble, bro. Read Humble's effect. It's crazy.
And you can also fission bloom, cause a loop every single time.
True. Yep.
No,
That's
that
pretty.
is
no, you can't play
disgusting.
Deacylus and exhaust. You have to exhaust him though. For
Yeah,
humble.
well, you have to wait a turn. Yeah, you have to. It's a little slower, I guess.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Fission bloom, cause a loop for 2 draws, and then oh my gosh. That's kind of gross.
Yo, what does Commune do again? Like you lose all your Ember and then gain 4 or something, and then it's
Yep.
Omega?
That's exactly right, and it's on Omega.
So where would that fit into this?
Turn
First
one.
turn play.
Turn 1.
Well, turn 1 and after you just forge the key. Like the turn you
Yes,
just
yes.
forge the key, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And you hopefully aren't putting down that Flumph that turn, or any like
Yeah.
untamed actions.
And that Vault's Blessing is pretty good. You got eight. You got
Yeah.
eight mutants in this deck.
Yeah. So you can Vault's Blessing
Ooh.
up to a key if you successfully forge Commune out on your next turn.
I mean, as long as you don't have 4 more amber, you still net, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's not too bad.
Yeah, it sounds like everyone's a little more happy with this deck a little bit more.
It's nice. It's
It's
fun
more
because it has,
interesting.
yeah, it's
but
interesting.
Is
That's
it
what
good?
I'll sass it at 68.
Oh, it doesn't break the 70 now.
I don't think it beats 70. I'll sass it at 68.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
something that's gonna move a little forward, but I can't wait for you to find out the rest of your display. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
So wait, what are you saying?
He's saying that.
Oh.
So
I
go
can't
ahead.
wait to find out the rest of your display, just because I think we had 3 duds.
yeah, which means there's got to be a good one based off that mentality.
Yep.
I
How
mean,
about you?
it's
Yep.
toolboxy. ish. It's just
It has artifact control, which I'm happy about.
yeah. It's just there's several things that are lackluster. Though, if I'm not wrong, actually no, that Fangtooth Cavern still hurts your Untamed. I was hoping like, oh, maybe it's gonna work in your favor, given you have like the big dudes and Saurians. For Logos, it's mostly the bigger dudes, but literally you have 3 creatures in there. So you have
Okay,
standardized
I mean,
testing
Josh
for
will be
white.
happy with the Fangtooth Cavern. Just throw down the Bumblebird, just let it die.
Yep.
That's true. Just give us the pips and die. Just give us the bonus power and die.
I will probably be very close. Like my estimation initially was very close to Josh.
I think Bumblebird literally drops it down like 3 sass.
So let's go to 65 for me then. 65.
Just that one card. Just that one card drops it down 3 sass.
At
Man.
least there's only one alpha, I guess.
There's one alpha, one omega. Right?
Like
Yeah. Instead
that
of like
one
multiple
card.
alpha, multiple omega, that's the worst. That's what we saw in Age of Ascension. I'm gonna go 65.
63.
Ooh.
I'll say
Alright.
Opposition
68.
research really lowers it, plus the Bumblebird does too.
All right, so you guys are pretty spot on. I'm sorry, Josh. You're a little too humble, or a little too
It's okay.
a little too aggressive there, I guess, because it's a 64, guys.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
Hey.
I told you Bumblebird takes it down from like 3 sass, so
It's just that
I should have stuck with it.
Daesilus looks mighty fine. That's what brought it up to 68.
Yeah, but
That's
hey, I mean, Amber control is expected 7.3, 1.5 artifact control, 18 expected Amber, and 8.3 damage, character damage. Speed is 8. Board is 92. So I mean, it is a toolboxy deck. I think it's viable. It's a good like medium line deck. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, once again, our guys pretty accurate in terms of these SAS ratings, and unfortunately, once again, this display is unfortunate.
Underwhelming at the moment, but just you wait.
Yeah, you'll have to wait till next season to get the really good stuff.
juicy
if we haven't
decks.
opened it yet.
Well,
Yep.
we'll see if I save the rest of the display for
Yeah,
the
probably
next season.
not.
But we can update. We'll update with the highlights.
Yep.
Alrighty. So, as mentioned, Josh is planning to do some of these webcam plays, and he did mention that we did complete a couple of these webcam plays in the past. So, we were hoping to kind of touch base and talk about effectively how can we play or how we play Keyforge these days, especially in these times. And hopefully, I mean, if you guys are looking for recommendations or setups, hopefully this gives you a little bit of inspiration. And we're going to talk about webcam plays and what we use. So hopefully, if you're out and looking for a option, you can get some ideas and go ahead and join us, perhaps, or take this as inspiration for you and your group of friends for playing as well. So, Josh, since you are kind of the headmaster of this world, what do you do? What do you use for your webcam plays, and how is your setup?
Sure. So it's pretty simple. I have a Gobi tripod that I use on my $70 2021 Nexigo webcam. It's a 1080p webcam with I think 70 plus degrees of like range, and it's pretty cool. It gets the job done. I've used it in other card game tournaments. Let me give you an example of how well it focuses.
So for those viewers who are looking in YouTube, you can take a look at Josh. He's grabbing some cards right now to, I guess, hold up to his camera.
Yeah, so for example, this is Perfectus Ludo. From this far, it doesn't focus into the text, but it's Perfectus Ludo. If you were to go in a little closer, I'm not sure if it will actually get it because it's already focused on my face. But yeah, it's struggling a bit. So I have to like reset with like my hand and stuff. But it's not going to work because it prioritizes face first. Oh, there we go. There we go.
You go.
it focuses like that. So when you want to show the deck, I mean the card specifically, but I mean even this far you can kind of tell what it is, right?
Yep.
He's
So
holding it up to his chest.
yeah, so it's no, I'm saying like the setup's really good. You can get this thing going for like $70. Like I actually got the webcam on sale for $45. So I mean, you don't need a fancy Logitech webcam to get started. You just need Discord, maybe a Nexigo $50 cam, and you're good to go. Your setup though has to make sure that whatever angle the webcam is on, it's not, I guess, adjacent to where the light in the room is coming from. Otherwise, you get glare. And the best, what I've learned is, I want to say, you want to go 45 degrees as far as the height. So, for example, if the cards are like right here, you want to have a height setup that's like 45 degrees from your playing field. And then that should be enough to see the entire mat, all the cards with good clarity. And yeah, that's it.
So you mean 45 degrees, like the camera's pointing down at the cards at a 45-degree angle?
Yeah, 45-degree angle. So literally like that kind of thing.
Okay. So what you're saying is a tripod, a webcam, to use any mics or anything?
I mean, the webcam. Most webcams have their own mic setup, which should be fine. Honestly, apart from an echo, it should totally be fine. So I wouldn't, think too much about it. If you have a headset, you're good to go.
Okay. And then in terms of, I guess, software, what do you use to do your display? Do you use like a Zoom? Do you use Google Meet? Discord? What do you usually use?
You can use anything, but I think Discord is the best because you can both share your screen. So you can both share that you're playing over the webcam in the same video chat call kind of thing, and you can pop out the thing and maximize it on your screen so you can see. I mean, all apps are going to do that. So honestly, Discord's the best one in my opinion, but you can run Zoom, Discord, whatever you want really.
Cool. How about you, Benson? What do you use for your stuff? Use the same stuff, or if there are any differences, what are the differences that you use on your?
Different equipment, but overall the same software and stuff. So the camera I have is a cheaper Akita camera that I got off Amazon. It doesn't have a zoom function, unfortunately, so it's just a fixed zoom. But it has a 1080p quality, so it's clear enough. So I'll just bring up a card as well, and this is the glare that he's talking about. But if I get the 45-degree angle here, unfortunately my light is not positioned well for showing this off. But if I change my angle, so excuse the mess that you might see underneath. But if I tilt this down, you have my playing area right away. Like Josh said, as long as you're familiar with the image, it's relatively clear. It's not going to be too hard, and there's always resources you can look up what each card does as well. Or if you need, just ask your opponent to read it for you. Aside from that, like this mic I have is a specific setup, but it's not really necessary. All you really need is, as long as something that picks up your voice, something video. Oh, let's put this back. Then you're fine. Though I did try Droid Cam with my phone. So Droid Cam is a free app for Android users. You can use your phone camera as a webcam. I'm still working out the details of how to improve the quality because it was actually worse than what you saw now with this webcam. I think it just took the lowest quality possible. So I've yet to figure out the details with it, but it might be an option for the viewers out there, listeners out there.
Is it like a free app or something, or you have to pay for it?
Yeah, free app on Play Store. It's called Droid Cam. I'm sure there's an equivalent in the Apple Store as well for Apple users.
Also, I wanted to add one more thing. Like, if you're going to use tokens, well, you are going to use tokens. I would just recommend the wood ones, like the ones that come with the starter kit. Just so you and your opponent are well aware of what the tokens represent. Just because there can be some confusion with using different sized beads that represent different things, like, and over the webcam, you want it as simple as possible, as obvious as possible.
Okay. How about you, Dennis? Have you had a chance to do any of these plays or anything, to discuss your setup as well?
I haven't personally tried it, the only thing I've done as far as webcam things are streaming. I kind of jiggle something up. Right now I'm in the process of using a high-end camera, like a DSLR. I'm waiting for a cord to put it in my I guess computer. But the thing is, what I've been using right now is just this cheap, what was it, 4K cheap GoPro. It's pretty good, but it doesn't do the autofocus. So as long as that's everybody mentioned, as long as you're familiar with the cards, you'll be able to see it. Like I said, I haven't played online with the webcam, live game play with a webcam. I haven't done that. I would want to, so but we'll see. Hopefully, I'll be able to join these guys, but we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, and then as for myself, I also had the Akita cam as well that Benson was using. But because of lack of autofocus, I went out and hunted for another camera. We ended up picking up the Logitech C922 Pro. So that's a more higher end webcam, which has autofocus, very good audio as well. And so if you can pick that up, that's a easy to go as well, easy way to go. But in terms of setup, I think Josh and Benson pretty much nailed it. Maybe have a tripod or something, but the camera that I got came with a tripod, so like a mini tripod, a mini desk one, which I use for my setup as well. So basically, just getting that one camera got everything set up. And then as for lighting, I just use a lamp that I have and shine it to make sure it's a little bit easier, more clear. But there is low light settings on this higher end camera as well. But in terms of playing on a webcam, do you guys find it takes the same amount of time, a little bit more? And I guess one question is, what happens when you have to pass a card across the table? How does that work? What do you guys do to mediate that? Because that's just something where I'm thinking, where if you're in person, you can reach across the table. Example, Scally Caper, right? You can pass it onto the opponent's board. There are other cards, say like Collar of Subordination, where you have to take control, or Spangler Box, right? Things that require you to actually reach across the board and utilize your opponent's components. What do you guys do?
Yeah, so one of the things that you could do, we've never encountered that situation yet, but your playmat just shows you basically how much space you've got to play on, unless you're like a crazy like 25 creature deck. And one thing you can do is space out your battle line so it reflects your opponent's battle line. So if you were to take control of a flank creature, your opponent could take their creature and literally just turn it over on their side of the webcam, have it face you, and put it on the flank that you desire, right? So for example, if your opponent has 3 creatures here and they're taking a flank creature, or 4 creatures and you're taking a flank creature, one of the things you can do is take this flank creature and just move it out like that, literally. So they could just place it above their battle line, facing them, and then that should be good enough. Now, for specific stuff, like if you want to deploy, you can space out your cards so there's an empty space that represents that deployed creature or taken control of or what have you, right? So just space out your battle line so that extra space represents a card that is on your opponent's board, and you just have to remember. I mean, we're not playing tournament level play here. Like, this is just to have that personal experience, other than having to go on TCO or online or something.
So that's a lot better thought than I thought about. But yeah, awesome.
Same.
Awesome. So do you guys find it takes about the same amount of time or a little bit longer? Like, how does that work for you guys? I mean, personally, I think it takes a little bit longer, but it's kind of fun. I think it gives you a little bit more sense of actual gameplay. And of course, like, we don't get to cut each other's decks or anything like that, but I think you give up a little bit, but it gives you at least more ways to connect.
Yeah, I agree. Takes a little bit longer, but pretty worth it. And in terms of the cutting and all that stuff, you can always ask your opponent, "Hey, how do you want me to cut my deck?" And just do an estimation of what they want you to do.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think we're all playing this game as kind of a casual setting anyways. So I think when we play on the webcam and such, we're not playing any tournaments or anything like that, as Josh mentioned. So I think we use the honor system. Yep.
Yeah.
Moving on to our. So now we know that how we play Keyforge. Perhaps let's discuss a little bit in terms of alternate variants and formats of Keyforge. We last couple episodes we talked about worlds and the different variants of Triad Adaptive and Solo Best of 3 that would be implemented in worlds, supposedly. But I was hoping to touch base with the guys to discuss other alternate formats. These may come in the form of side events at worlds, or even alternative formats for your stores that can run them, or even listeners can utilize and to play webcam Keyforge with your friends. First off, let's touch base. Apparently, with FFG, what they've published is a document of some formats and variants. And in terms of what FFG states is that there is a format of sealed and Archon for, I guess, all variants. Sealed, as we all know, is basically cracking open a pack and then playing the deck that you're given, or at least the sealed deck. And then there's Archon, which is you bring your own deck. And all the variants are the types that playstyles in which a tournament or a game can be ran. And those variants are such as Triad, Adaptive, Solo Best of 3, which we already mentioned. But of course, there are many, many others which the community or FFG has officially licensed as well. So what are some variants that you guys like to play, or some of your favorites? Let's touch base with Dennis. Like, what do you like out of the variants? It could be even the ones from Worlds.
There's a love-hate relationship for me with Reversal, just because I think there's a Reversal deck that I have that I would really want to give out to somebody and tell them enjoy playing with this. So it's kind of tough because when they give me a deck too, it's hard to it takes a lot of brain power to figure out how you can win with it.
So what's this Reversal you're talking about?
Right. Sorry. Just to go over a Reversal format is essentially like 2 players come to a table, gives you a deck that they own that you have to play with and win with. Generally speaking, you would try to bring your worst possible deck that you have so that your opponent has a really difficult time winning with it. So where I was going is that I have a really, really, really bad deck that has the most useless cards in the game, and it has multiple copies of it. Let's say, example, I have a deck that has 4 copies of Save the Pack, 3 copies of Phosphorus Stars. So that's not going to be fun to play with. So that's why it's going to be really hard for them to get a win condition with it. So it's a love-hate relationship for me. I love playing it because when you win with it, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I won with this deck. But it takes a lot of brain power to try to set something up and win with a deck that's really bad.
I think, yeah. So I think what you mentioned is like the Archon Reversal, where you bring your own deck.
Yeah, Archon Reversal.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think I played in a sealed Reversal tournament one time at a store, and I was hesitant against reversals, but the sealed Reversal actually was kind of interesting because I think it makes more winners at the end of the day. Because if you open up a really bad sealed deck, you probably do really well, right? Because you would win. But if you open up a really good sealed deck, you probably end up losing the tournament, but you end up leaving with a really strong deck.
That's a good point.
So I thought that the reversal format was. I mean, I was hesitant playing it, but afterwards I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll just point out that interestingly enough, the FFG document that describes the variants and what it actually says which formats the variants are suitable for. So reversal variant actually is only suitable for Archon based off their document. So the fact that somebody tried the sealed version of it is pretty cool. And I agree that like at the end of the day, it feels like more winners, like you said, for the same reasons.
okay. I also just want to cover like the ones I think we're gonna be covering are the official ones, meaning that FFG is the one who produced those formats. There are, like John mentioned, there are like sanctioned formats that are not official. Maybe your local stores can run them, like a sealed reversal. I don't think that's part of FFG's official tournaments. So yeah, there are other unsanctioned formats, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think reversal might be where you cannot do that in webcam games.
That's true.
Oh yeah, this is true.
Yep. So, how about you, Josh? What variants do you enjoy?
Man, my favorite format is just 3-deck survival. Or any kind of survival.
So what does that mean?
Survival's pretty simple. Like you get 3 decks, I think it's Swiss, right? You just play rounds until you either make it to the top cut or until you've lost once with each deck and you are eliminated. That's really all there is to it. But it's a ton of fun because you get to build up a roster or like a team of these 2, 3, 4 decks or however many the survival tournament requires, and you just roll with it. And I like it because you can go as far as you can with each one and see what happens.
Cool. And usually I think that requires a lot more people to play, perhaps?
It could, yeah. But I mean, yeah, I think it would actually. Like how many people I'm trying to picture running it with 16 people, and I feel like it would be a 2-deck survival. I think it's possible to pull it off. But you'd be facing No, you could I'm pretty sure you could do a 2-deck survival with 16 people. How many rounds is 16 people typically? Like 4, 5?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so you'll be facing 5 different people. I mean, there'll be a top cut with 2 decks. Like basically 16 people, you lose 2 games, you're out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
You'd
you
have
could
less
totally
decks
do
with
it.
less people, essentially. The more people you have, the more likely you're going to go with 3-deck survival.
Yeah, yeah.
The advantage of survival formats, the rounds go by fast, meaning that as you progress through, a lot of people get eliminated, so the top cut gets really short.
There is an interesting part to discuss about the survival format or variant, is that if you're in the position where you've been winning, and you have your deck order, right? So it depends on how you set up your order of the 3 decks that are your lifelines. Going into your like day 2 of the tournament, top cut or whatever, you may be limited to the last deck you've been playing with that's been potentially winning. So which deck do you want to go into your top cut games with? So for example, let's say I ranked my decks in order from weakest to strongest and then went into the tournament and somehow my weakest deck has been winning. Do I drop 2 games and lose intentionally to move on to that last deck that I believe is the strongest that's going to carry me through to win the tournament, or keep playing with the decks that's been winning for a while? That's an interesting part of survival.
All right, so just to cover what you said, if you winning with your weakest deck, I think your weakest deck is really strong.
Exactly. It's a unique situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a unique situation, but it also, I think, depends upon the organizers and the tournament format, whether or not you're required to take the current deck that you're holding into day 2 or the top cut or whatever it is.
Right,
Such
absolutely.
as our Canadian Grand Championship, where people started dropping games kind of to get to their last deck, or, out of the remaining decks you have, you're allowed to bring any of them to day 2 kind of thing, which was kind of how Albany, the 3 decks, it changed up a little bit. So
I think ever since that Vault Tour happened, I think the new ruling is you're allowed to choose as long as they survive. I can't
Okay.
confirm that because I think they faced an issue with our Grand Championship that people started dropping decks, and then they lowered their seeding, and then that produced a lot more problems more than anything.
Right. True. Yeah, if it's an optional like choice now, then that's good.
Yeah, but it's definitely if the old format was there, it caused a lot more problems, but now it's a lot more flexible and you have more control.
Cool. So out of these two formats, Benson, what's your, I guess, another format?
Another format. So, one that hasn't been done very frequently, that's a very interesting format, is an auction variant. So, yeah, you could do this essentially with sealed or Archon settings. What you do is you have a bunch of decks, and everybody kind of gets to look through the deck list, and you bid number of chains right off from the get-go. So whoever bids the highest for any given deck will end up being able to play for that tournament or that evening or whatever. So this is a format that really tests your ability to assess and appraise a deck between multiple decks to pick out which one's the strongest and most likely to win. And sometimes like it's not necessarily the overall strength, but really the meta that's developed within that one tournament, which creates a lot of uniqueness in that, like, yeah, like in the game you're expecting like, okay, what our usual focus is amber control, whatever. So there's so many points, right? But in this like one specific tournament, maybe none of the decks work that way. Maybe it's a very different game that you're now playing that focuses on a completely different aspect. So it's pretty interesting when you look at it that way, and like that format can really pull in that kind of new experience with Keyforge instead of being the old meta relevant decks only, and or like you have to have a toolkit deck or you have to have something in a specific style to be competitive. This can bring something that wasn't competitive into the limelight, and really like that deck could win that night because it has all the tools to respond to those decks that were available. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome. So in terms of a variant that I've seen people do in the community is, it would require a third party. So if you go on to Dex Keyforge to look for a SAS rating, I've seen some people in our community where they do a SAS lock, so rating locked tournament or even games where they take similar, or they put a number, like a cap, so decks cannot go higher than a certain rating, just to make sure that decks are at least evenly powered or nothing too crazy is brought to the table. I think that's one way that a very easy way that if you want to play like a webcam game or something, just be like, hey, telling your buddy, hey, let's just like lock in something around 65, right? So just so that nothing is crazy good or something comes out. And that's one way to play, I think, a pretty good way, but it's not officially licensed because it is a rating system not officially recognized by FFG, but something that gives you a little bit more evenness in terms of the gameplay, I think. So any other formats?
Just to throw in another one, since you said SAS locked, there's also house restrictions, or like this is just the twist on things. So like if you were playing in a team format, let's say, between your team's decks, you can't have a duplicate house. So that way it prevents like everybody using a specific style of deck, and between all your decks, like especially now with 4 sets and in total 9 different houses, everybody's deck has to have a different set of houses so that there's no overlap whatsoever, or something along those lines. Or maybe like you can't have more than two decks that have a shared house or something along those lines. But like it's just a way to like change things up.
So that's only on a team game though?
In terms of restricting that way, I would say it was mostly team format focused, because otherwise like you wouldn't
so it's like
be able
two
to.
or three people, I guess, right? Between like on your team, you'd have 2 or 3 people.
Yeah, exactly. So between your teammates, or like let's say, put it this way, every house has to be represented between your teammates. Then that way
Or
you
if
have to
like,
choose. Yeah.
Or if you brings like if you play with your buddy, like have 3 decks, you can't have duplicate houses between your 3 decks, kind of thing. That'd be kind of cool. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, that'd be cool. Or like if we change this into a solo situation, then it's like, oh, you have to bring a Brobnar deck, or you have to bring like a house has to be represented in that deck for that night or something. Another way of like changing it up.
You know,
I just
we tried something similar to that at Three Kingdoms, where it's like we'd have a theme every week.
Mm.
So, for example, like one week was like aliens versus giants. So people would have to bring either a Mars or a Brobnar deck, but not a deck that had both.
Ah,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So that was when it was early. It was like AOA's times kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
Was
fun
that,
because you're
was
forced
that
to
also
look.
set restricted?
It was at the time, but that's because we didn't really like my community didn't play a lot of Coda. We were playing AOA.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, you could totally do that with Mass Mutation and Worlds Collide, where you're only choosing, for example, it's like dinosaurs versus werewolves, and then it's literally just Untamed versus Saurian. You can't have both in the same deck, and then see how interesting that goes, right? I like that. Theme stuff is fun.
True.
Yeah, I think other people also did maybe like Archon color or something where they like limit those. How about you, Dennis? You wanted to bring something up as well?
The only thing I wanted to bring up really is just like the beauty of Keyforge itself, just because all these formats we're talking about comes from essentially branches off from getting a deck or opening up a deck, and you can do a lot with it. Like, I just see so many potential of the things we can do based on just Keyforge itself. All these formats to me really changes each game that you're coming from. So let's say like the auction thing really changes up everything the whole night, because that adds a totally new layer of evaluating / oh, I really want to play with this deck even though it's not mine. I want to play with it for the night, so I'm going to build a bunch of chains on it. So like to me it's just so like it's so amazing that Keyforge can do a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the beauty of Keyforge is the ability for it to adapt and adjust to all sorts of situations, and the variability is very special in this game, where it allows for different things to happen where a lot of people may not expect it to. And I think that is part of the beauty of Keyforge, where every deck is unique, so every game is unique and special as well.
Mm-hmm.
So any other formats you guys want to highlight, bring up to our listeners, or is it kind of run dry in terms of the thoughts for now?
I don't have any new formats to talk about or variants to talk about, but I just as an extra question to put out there, since the last time I played Reversal was with Coda and only Coda. Now that Worlds Collide and Mass Mutation has come into the fold, has anything changed for Reversal and what you look for in a Reversal deck?
I feel like you just bring a crappy AOA deck.
Janky, but deck that doesn't work.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't personally. I'm not a big fan of Reversal. That's why, or Archon Reversal. But that's why I said that sealed Reversal. You also went in hesitantly, but I did come out with like a kind of cool deck. So I was like, hey, that's cool. But in terms of going into an Archon Reversal, it wasn't really my jam. So I don't really know. I'll defer to the rest of the guys for the thought process in bringing a Archon Reversal.
Okay. Speaking like average wise, strength wise, potential wise, like I'm just talking about opening a bunch of decks, looking through it, not playing it a lot. So I'm talking very general, very average. I probably would not bring a Worlds Collide / Mass Mutation deck. Just because the mechanics of warding in Worlds Collide, the mechanics of Saurian, and then the mechanics of enhancements and like creature power wise / ability wise in those later sets
Mm-hmm.
has a lot more potential compared to like the first two sets. Just because, like, I'm talking very general here, very average. I feel like if you bring an average Mass Mutation deck versus an average AOA or Coda deck, I think Mass Mutation will still win. Just because,
Yeah.
like, all these new variants of enhancements, warding, there's more potential on the board. So it makes it a little bit stronger. That's why I'm talking very average.
But like, have you seen the lowest of the low through the decks that you've opened for Mass Mutation?
Yes. So, okay, we're talking about that. I feel like it's a lot harder to pull 50s in Mass Mutation because I feel like there's a lot more synergy slash like the enhancement already adds on to it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys
So
think that that's deliberate by Fantasy Flight, where as the sets progress, the skewed kind of power of each deck is kind of moving towards the middle versus having an extreme on each side? Like the
good
majority of
question.
decks moving towards the middle, and it'll be more reliant on the little differences between the two and the pilot that would really determine whether you win or not.
So you're talking about power creep?
Yeah, because like I feel like with each set, each deck, more decks become playable with each set release. You know, so I'm starting to notice like while there are still anomalies of like 90, 100 SAS and like 50 SAS in Mass Mutation, I feel like that's even more few and far in between versus the previous sets. Because I haven't pulled any like really bad um, Mass Mutation, and most of my Mass Mutation that is really good has kind of maxed out at 80. But I mean, SAS is once again arbitrary. It's not really like set in stone. I don't think it's the developer's intention to have some SAS metric, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
short okay, to answer your question, the short answer is I'd say yes, but we went over this as far as power creep wise in previous episodes. Short answer, yes, which is a beautiful thing because you have to rely more on the player's skill. That's what I'm gonna say about it.
I
And
lean
and
yes, because of the evergreen aspect of it. So like, if older sets are supposed to be able to compete with the newer ones, it's all gotta hover around a certain area, right?
yeah, and I think if that's the direction we're going, I think that's good because more people will feel that, it falls down to practice and people can really stick with decks that they really find fun because sometimes, you have that fun deck and you're like, man, I can't really take this because it's not like it's great, but it's not good enough. You know what I mean? I feel like
Mm-hmm.
as we progress, if we're heading in that direction, more people will be able to bring not only decks they enjoy playing, but those decks will also be good enough and they can pilot it well enough to compete.
Well, thank you once again for listening to us and coming on to this podcast and joining us for this hour-long discussion. I am very happy that the guys have joined me and put together this awesome season of the Keys to ESP. So hopefully through this episode, everyone, our listeners, got a chance to understand a little bit of how we're playing Keyforge throughout this pandemic and global situation, and hopefully everyone is staying safe. Of course, if you have any other formats that you perhaps play with your buddies, or even have at your local store, feel free to let us know. We're always welcome to more different types of play and how people are engaging in this awesome game. So before we close, though, you guys got anything to discuss possibly next week or perhaps until we rejoin back with the rest of the community? What do you guys got planned for the holidays? Joe Dobby?
Man, I'm just hanging out with the family. I'll be streaming some Digimon TCG. If me and Kraos Chrono, Stormy Knight, DC Trays, if any of our schedules line up and we're down to play some Keyforge, I will 100% let you guys know in the Keyforge Facebook group. But with that said, it's mainly just chilling out and enjoying this time off because it's back to work come January 4th.
Will you be streaming on Twitch or just doing recordings? Just
Oh yeah. So for Keyforge specifically, what I'll be doing is I'll be streaming on Twitch, but also recording the streams to put on YouTube. Joe Dobby is the same thing. So JODOBBI, whether it's Twitch or YouTube, catch me there and say hi.
Awesome. DC Trades, you got anything going on for the holiday? Keyforge wise or whatnot?
I kind of stopped the sales for now just because it's hard to send things out during the holidays. So I'll probably get back to it in January. I'll see what the guys are up to as well. See if we can hop on some stuff. We'll see what we can do in regards to that. But I just want to say that thank you for everybody who joined us in the last 12 episodes. If you guys have any ideas, things you want us to talk about, as John said, feel free to reach out to us. You know where to reach us, and I'm sure he's going to cover it when we close out. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who supported us the last 12 episodes.
Awesome. And Chaos Chrono,
Yep. Like what Josh said, planning to put up that content together. So on his stream and perhaps my own as well. We're trying to do in multiple days if possible. But definitely look out for his first. I'm a bit more focused on the YouTube content at the moment, so I'll be hopefully be able to provide similar content there as well. My continued unboxings will be posted weekly, and as usual, I've also decks on Decks of Keyforge to sell as well. But right now, yeah, I'm expecting most things to be pretty slow as everybody focuses on what's truly important and seeing family, and especially through this harsh time with pandemic going on. So just to repeat what everybody else has been saying, thank you for supporting us through viewership, through listening. Thank you for the interactions. Like all the comments, all the replies that we get, whether individually on our own channels or through Team ESP, has all been wonderful and really motivates us to put out more content like this. So definitely stay connected, keep in touch, and stay safe out there, and happy holidays.
Happy holiday!
Awesome. So if there is anybody that wants to reach out to us, you can find us at extrashards extrashards@gmail.com. That is our primary contact. And of course, you can feel free to reach out to any of the guys who create content on YouTube, Twitch, and everywhere else to be able to reach out to them individually as well. Once again, this is Plastic Crack John. I am joined with the rest of Team ESP, Seal Benson, Side Pod Dennis, and Josh Narp. We wish you all a very happy holidays, and hopefully everyone stays safe. And until we meet again, happy forging, everybody.
Happy forging. My neighbors still can't reap.
How do you even forge then? Can't reap.
I can. They can't.